All right, welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving straight into something really crucial: lifelong learning and adaptability. And we all want to get informed quickly, make the most of our time, and that's why you're here.
Exactly. We're all about that.
So we've gone deep into a pretty in-depth report all about how to actually cultivate these skills. Our mission today, to figure out why they're so important and, more importantly, give you some practical, evidence-based strategies you can use, like right away, to navigate this crazy world that seems to be changing faster than ever.
Yeah, and what's really interesting right off the bat is how adults actually learn. It's different than when we were kids, right?
Right.
I mean, think about it. You probably like to be more in control of what you're learning, how you're learning it, at your own pace. And all those experiences you've racked up over the years, they actually become like these building blocks for new learning.
It makes sense.
Yeah, and you're usually more motivated to learn something new when you can see how it's going to directly benefit you in real life. What's the point?
Absolutely. So the report really stresses having a mix of resources like online courses, ebooks, even just staying up on industry news. The idea is to find what really works for you and how you learn best.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense that when the format's a good fit, you're going to be way more engaged.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's get into some really effective learning techniques that the report highlights. First up, spaced repetition.
Oh, this is a good one. So basically, it's a clever way to make learning stick.
Okay.
Spaced repetition basically means reviewing information at different intervals, longer and longer, to fight that natural forgetting curve that we all have. We all forget things.
Right.
So think of it like this. Just as a memory is starting to fade, you kind of reactivate it. And each time you do that, it makes the memory stronger over time. So a simple example is reviewing something right after you learn it, then again, maybe a day later, then 3 days later, and so on. And flashcards are really great for this, especially if you make sure to revisit the ones that are harder for you more often. There are even apps out there like Anki that can automate the whole scheduling thing for you. It's like a personal trainer for your brain.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. And the best part, it helps you build long-term memory without that last-minute cramming stress.
Who doesn't want that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, here's something really interesting to think about. Our brains are wired to prioritize information we find important. So experimenting with these different intervals and really noticing what sticks for you can actually give you a lot of insight into your own memory process.
Okay, I like that. Personalization.
Yeah.
All right, so next up, we have active recall. I'm guessing this goes beyond just passively reading something over and over.
You got it. Active recall is all about actively pulling that information out of your memory. You're not just reading it, you're actually trying to remember it. And each time you do that, you're strengthening those neural pathways in your brain.
Oh, okay.
It's like exercise for your memory, basically. And again, flashcards are awesome for this. Question on one side, answer on the other. Practice questions, summarizing what you've learned in your own words, even trying to explain it to someone else, like teaching it.
Right.
That's the Feynman technique, teaching something to understand it.
Good.
And all of these methods, they force your brain to work and they highlight any gaps you might have in your knowledge.
I see.
And combining active recall with spaced repetition, that's like the ultimate power combo for really solid learning.
So it's not just about taking in information, it's about really engaging with it and then revisiting it strategically to make it stick.
Okay.
Okay, so the third strategy the report highlights is metacognition. This sounds a bit complicated, but break it down for us. What's the main idea here?
Well, at its core, metacognition is thinking about thinking. So it's really about being aware of how you learn best. And this involves two main parts. First, understanding how learning works in general, and then second, actually managing your own learning process based on that understanding.
So like self-awareness as a learner.
Exactly. And this awareness can help you become so much more effective. You start planning your learning, checking your understanding as you go, figuring out if your methods are working, reflecting on what you've learned. It's like you become the architect of your own learning journey.
Makes sense.
Even knowing your learning style, like are you a visual learner, auditory learner, that kind of thing, all plays into this. And developing these metacognitive skills, it can lead to better results, more independence in your learning, and better problem-solving skills overall.
It's like you're taking control.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, speaking of actively engaging your brain, the report also emphasizes the importance of really understanding how you learn, which kind of brings us back to this concept of metacognition.
It's all connected.
It is.
Okay, so the report then shifts gears a bit and talks about why being adaptable is so vital, especially in our careers.
Right. And, if we zoom out and look at the big picture for a sec, just think about how fast the world of work is changing.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Job roles are constantly evolving. There's new technology popping up every day, and the market's just like shifting constantly.
It's a lot.
It is. Adaptability isn't just a nice to have anymore. It's like absolutely essential for navigating this crazy landscape, both for your own career growth and for the organizations you're a part of.
Just like in sink or swim.
It really is. For you as an individual, being adaptable can open up more opportunities, lead to greater job satisfaction, and help you manage stress when faced with all this constant change. And for employers, having adaptable teams, it fuels innovation and helps them stay ahead of the curve, stay competitive.
Right. It's about thriving, not just surviving in this constantly changing environment.
Mhm.
Now, the report also brings up Carol Dweck's work on the growth mindset, which I always find really fascinating.
Oh yeah, this is a big one. What's really interesting here is the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset basically says that your abilities and your intelligence are like pretty much set in stone.
Okay.
But a growth mindset, on the other hand, believes that these qualities can be developed through effort and hard work.
You can learn and grow.
Exactly. Someone with a growth mindset, they see challenges as opportunities to learn and improve. They persist through setbacks, and they view effort as the path to mastery, not some sign of weakness. And this mindset fuels a passion for continuous learning and builds resilience. It makes you more open to new experiences, more comfortable with change because you see it as a chance to learn and grow.
You're not afraid of it.
Exactly. And research has actually shown that people with a growth mindset, they tend to achieve more, they're more motivated, and they handle challenges better. It's like when you're learning a new instrument, someone with a fixed mindset might say, oh, I'm just not musical. But someone with a growth mindset, they see each mistake as a chance to get better.
Yeah, makes sense. So our beliefs about ourselves really do shape our capacity to learn and adapt. Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground today. What are some key takeaways you'd want our listeners to remember?
Absolutely. The big takeaways are: understand how you, as an adult, learn best. Take ownership of your learning journey and focus on practical application. Use those evidence-based strategies like spaced repetition and active recall to really make your learning last. Develop your metacognitive skills to become a more strategic and self-aware learner. Realize that adaptability is a fundamental skill, not just for your career, but for navigating the world in general. And finally, cultivate that growth mindset. Believe in your potential to learn and grow throughout your life.
A lot of really valuable insights to think about. So as a final thought for our listeners, think about one specific area in your life, could be personal, could be professional, where taking a more deliberate approach to learning or embracing that growth mindset could really help you make progress. What's one small, concrete step you can take in that direction starting today?
That's a great question to ponder.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.